guys, what's up? It's Josh. Welcome back to another video. As you guys can see by the title of today's video, we are looking at a couple different ways in order to tell if the guy that you're either going out with or the guy that you're really interested in is jealous. Because there are a bunch of different ways in order to tell if a guy is jealous based on the things that he says, the things that he does, just the behavior that he has, the body language. There might be some of you guys out there that are watching this video that you're trying to figure out if the things that you're doing in your relationship are actually making your boyfriend or whoever it is jealous, or if it's totally fine and maybe you're just overthinking. In today's video, that's what we're gonna be looking at. I came up with, I feel like, the top things that you should be looking out for. There are some very specific things that guys do, and because I am a guy, I can relate 100% with all of these things that I'm about to tell you guys. So if you guys are new to my channel, hit the subscribe button. And with that being said, let's get into the first thing that I came up with for today's video. First thing that I came up with, and the first thing I'm gonna talk to you guys about, is the way that he acts when you tell him things, say at the end of a work day, or when you come home and you see him, or you go and hang out with them. If you notice that, like, when you bring up stories, or you're just talking about something that maybe you thought was funny during the day, or maybe something somebody else told you that you thought was interesting, one thing a guy is gonna do if he is jealous while you're talking to him is he's gonna pout, or he's gonna look like he's not really interested in whatever it is that you're trying to tell him. So one of the reasons a guy will do this, and you might find that he's not really into the things that you're telling him, and he might be all sad and weird and you're not really sure why he's doing it, is because if it's like happening where you're telling him a story about something that maybe a guy told you, or something that maybe happened at work and it was a guy that was part of it, and your boyfriend is maybe not part of like that group of friends, or maybe they don't even know that guy, the guy that you like might actually be jealous by you just telling him a random story about a guy at work. So if you notice that like he's getting weird, he's not really like saying anything, if he's not laughing at things that maybe you're laughing at when you're telling him these, that's one of the reasons why he might be doing that. So another way that a guy will show you that he's jealous is by being too charming, or like too nice, or doing things out of the ordinary that he wouldn't usually do. There's some things out there that, like, if a guy is not really the romantic type, if he's not the guy that is going out there buying you flowers all the time, or he's wanting to like just do everything for you, or he's bringing you out for dinner all the time, if you notice that all of a sudden a guy is like doing those gestures that he never really did in the past, that's a really good sign that this guy is actually really jealous about something. So how a guy's brain works is if he knows that like maybe you're around guys all the time, like at work or at school, and he feels a little bit jealous about it, if he feels like he has to do things in order to kind of like win you back over, and then they hope that like that will make them feel better because they're doing a lot more for you. And I think especially girls, when you guys bring up stories about other couples, I think that, let's say this guy doesn't really buy you flowers, and there's another couple that you guys hang out with all the time, and they're always buying each other stuff. If a guy feels like you like that, he's gonna kind of in turn go and try to do the things that he thinks that you like. So if you notice a sudden change in behavior, then that's a really good sign that he's jealous, and he's probably scared of losing you. So the next one I think is something that a lot of guys do. You'll probably experience this, every single one of you, once in your life. And I feel like when you're going out with a guy, or you have a boyfriend, if he does start to get really jealous, one of the things that you might actually start to realize is that he's kind of distancing himself, or he's like playing really hard to get, or he's trying to make you chase him. It might even start where he becomes really romantic and starting to buy you things, but if he feels like that's not working, he might go in the opposite direction and then just totally make you chase him. And I feel like the reason that guys do that is because if they are jealous and they're insecure, one thing that happens is like they're trying to build themselves back up, and they're trying to build their ego back up. And so if they distance themselves and then you start to chase them, that just shows them that like you are actually like caring, and you're like wanting to go after them, and you're wanting to go out with them. And so I feel like if a guy does feel like his ego has been hurt, or he is jealous about something, you might notice that he's gonna like play hard to get. But I think like that also shows a little bit of immaturity, because if he is doing that, and let's say you guys are going out, that's like a really hard thing to deal with, because like you're going out with somebody that's not wanting to be around you, and that can be super dumb, and I feel like it's a really unhealthy relationship. So if you notice that that's happening, it's probably because he is jealous and he wants you to chase him. But I think that that's something down the line that would have to be like worked out, because Nobody wants to be doing that forever. So that's another sign that like a guy is probably jealous. Okay, so moving into like a whole different like behavior type when it comes to being jealous. I think sometimes guys will get into a mindset of feeling like if they become tougher, it'll make them more attractive. If a guy does feel jealous, one thing that he might start to do is like become a person that's like not really nice, or he might be like mean to your friends, or he might say things to you that are mean, and he's just trying to like make himself feel better about himself by treating other people bad. But at the same time, this can be really unhealthy, because if it gets too far, what starts to happen is if a guy is jealous, let's say that you're talking to other guys, if another guy walks up to you and starts to talk to you, if he is trying to be tough or he's like getting all angry, if he starts to like tell you that he's gonna beat up all these people that you're talking to, or he's gonna start like phoning the people that you're talking to, all of these different things I think come down to just being really insecure about themselves, and like they have to take it out in a very angry way. So, but I think it definitely does happen, and it's something that totally is possible when people do get jealous. People's behaviors can change so fast, especially when you're like dealing with somebody that you really have feelings for, because if it's not usually like what he's like, then there's got to be something there that's making him feel like he has to do that. So that's another weird type of behavior that a guy will have if he is feeling that way. So we've gone through a lot of different things already, but I feel like the next one is probably one that you'll see a lot more often than you think, and that is if a girl is going out and a guy really has a big crush on her, you guys are maybe boyfriend and girlfriend, he might start to get super jealous that you're going out without him. Now, there's a really fine line between this one, because I feel like a guy can genuinely be sad that you're going out without him. He might want to be there doing the fun things that you're doing, or he just like likes to be with you, so he wants to be out there hanging out with you. Or there's the total like opposite side of that, where he's just super jealous because there's a lot of trust issues and he doesn't want you going out because he feels like maybe guys are hitting on you or you're hitting on guys. I don't know, these are all weird, messed up things that go through a guy's head, but I think that this is kind of like a hard one because it's hard to tell if he is sad or if he's jealous. So the one way you can really tell is when you come home or you see him next. One of the things that you'll be able to tell is just by like his attitude, or if he's asking you a bunch of questions about what was going on when you guys were hanging out, or who was there, or what guys were there. So if you notice that he is being weird when you go out anywhere without him, that might be a sign that like he actually does have a little bit of jealousy in him, especially if he's asking you those questions like what type of guys were there. Those are questions that you kind of just have to watch out for if you want to know if he is jealous. The next one is kind of crazy. I've heard of this happening before, and it does happen all the time, but this kind of shows that there are like maximum trust issues in a relationship. And if you have this going on, this is probably something that you need to like talk about like that day. So what it is if a guy is really jealous and he starts to show up at the places that you're going that like he would never usually show up at, like if you go to work and all of a sudden you notice that like you're just hanging out and your boyfriend shows up and he's kind of just like there to ask questions or just there to see what's going on. Or let's say you go to the mall with like a girlfriend and all of a sudden your boyfriend is just showing up in these random spots like unannounced. These are different signs that just show that there's other things that are going on in his head in terms of like him being jealous that you're with somebody else, or he's just worried that like there's other people just hitting on you all the time. And so if you notice that a guy is doing that, that's a really unhealthy thing to be happening, and I feel like that's something that should probably like be talked about, because if you guys can't trust each other when you're going out to work, then there's definitely some things that you need to like just figure out. And I think that just shows that there's a lot of trust issues that he's probably dealing with. The next one is something that's gonna happen. And I feel like girls, sometimes you guys might do this too if you guys get jealous. So what it is if a guy feels jealous because let's say you're talking to like a guy at work or a guy at school and your boyfriend gets really jealous, one thing that he might do is start to talk to other girls or like try to make you jealous in a sense by like doing things with other people or texting girls or hanging out with girls. He might not talk about like the situation and tell you that he's jealous. He might just try to show you by trying to make you jealous. Which is kind of a messed up situation, because then in the end, it's not really good for anybody. Because you can obviously tell, let's say your boyfriend is talking to another girl, you can usually tell if they're like actually into the conversation or if they really care what they're talking about. And right away, you'll be able to tell like, okay, he's doing this because he wants me to be jealous. And I think that you can kind of go based off of that and like figure out what the situation is. So if you have that question in your head and you're wondering if there's things that are bothering him or if he's being weird, that is probably one of like the things that's going on. But one of the main things that you might see is that he's talking to other girls. So the 8th one, the next one, the last one that I'm gonna talk to you guys about, I feel like this one is something that shouldn't exist, but it does, and it sucks. Because I feel like when you want to go out and let's say you're going out with a bunch of girls and you guys are going to have fun somewhere, if a guy is super jealous that you're going out and having fun, and then let's say you get home at the end of the night or you see them the next time, and the guy is just being like super sad and super mopey and just tries to wreck your whole vibe, that's a thing that I think guys do if they are jealous. If it's something that they don't want to talk about, then that's really messed up, because then they're trying to make you feel really sad, but they don't want to talk about it. That's another one. Just like, don't let that person be sad and mopey and bring down your vibe. So that is the last one. So I talked about a lot of stuff in today's video, and I hope that like this stuff was able to help you out. I feel like all of the things that I talked about are things that go through a guy's head when they do feel like they have that feeling of being jealous. There are a lot of you guys I know that have boyfriends that are watching this, and if you're ever wondering what it's like when a guy is jealous, just look out for these things. There's a lot of you guys that ask these questions, and a lot of you guys that are watching that maybe you're going through something like this. So hope today's video was able to help you guys out. If you guys are new to my channel, so yeah, for those of you that watch my videos all the time, I love you guys so much. If you're new to my channel and you want to become part of my life, hit the subscribe button. And with that being said, I will see you guys next Saturday for next week's video. Bye! Bye.